Hello folks, this is Sula again, and you're listening to a video on League of Legends, this one featuring Karthus. We were in a relatively, I'd say pretty even game at the end of the last part. This Taric player on the other team came forward to attack us pretty aggressively at our tower, so I was going after him, Mookie jumped behind him, and I tried to exhaust him. However, right here, both of our champions had ran into sort of weird issues with the pathfinding, and we both sort of got stuck on that corner, which is a little bit weird. Unfortunately, I wasted my exhaust there, and we weren't able to get anything out of it against the Taric player. Mookie jumps on him, but with Ezreal there and the tower there, there's not a whole lot we're going to be able to do. Unfortunately, at this point, Mookie's just gotten out-leveled pretty badly at this point. You can see he's only level 7, and he's taken a lot of damage. So I went over here to try to grab our blue buff, but he was having to contend with Taric and with the other team's Ezreal there in the middle lane. And while I was over here, Mookie actually ended up getting killed. I think he was stunned by Taric, and then the two of them together were able to finish him off. So that was unfortunate. Mookie did say that he wasn't sure if he'd be able to hold that lane. So that's a bad play on my part. I should have been there in that middle lane. Should have been there to help hold that lane. We probably could have avoided a death there if I had been there. So bad play on my part. Didn't actually see how that kill happened, but I think that we could have done that. We could have done that better. Getting blue buff isn't worth getting someone else on your team killed. Anyway, it looks like the other people on the team have gone up to the top lane after going after Mookie here in the middle lane. With no one here, I'm going to get in some shots on this tower, and then I'm going to try to farm up this minion wave before I head up to the top lane, just to get in that extra gold and experience from killing this minion wave and let our minions push up to the tower again. Remember, by doing this, the enemy team is not going to get the gold or experience as our minions run up to the tower and then die. And now that I see 3 or 4 of them up in the top lane, I'm going to come up to the top lane to support in this fight that's likely going to be happening up here, because I'm expecting a fight to take place, and the rest of our team's coming forward too. Speaker dashes forward, and he gets in a nice taunt on Ezreal, but he's just too low, and their positioning was such that they are not allowing him to get back. Anyway, the rest of our team is going to focus that Ezreal, and you can see we get the kill there off screen. Now here, I throw down my wall to try to stop the escape of these people, but my wall is terrible in the placement. It doesn't slow down LeBlanc or Cho'Gath, so very poor wall on my part. I have some good ones sometimes, but that wasn't one of them, and thus both members of their team are able to escape. Anyway, we have 4 top, so we're going to go ahead and push this tower. Meanwhile, they have 2 people in our bottom lane. You can see their Taric and their Pantheon players are down there. We can't defend that tower, even with all of our various global ults, so we're going to go ahead and break their top tower anyway. And so we basically exchange a tower on each side. We take the top lane tower of theirs, they take the bottom lane tower of ours. Now they're still pushing on our bottom lane tower, but this is one point in time when it's nice to have all those global ults, because someone from our team is going to be able to go over here. You can see Speaker and Varus both teleport there. A little unfortunate because they're the 2 teleports on our team, and we burned both of them defending the same tower. So that's not the greatest, but at least we did save that tower. So anyway, back to the action. You can see we've traded a tower, so there's 1 tower down on both sides. The kills are still pretty even. They're a little bit ahead in kills. You can see 9 to 7, but we did take that first dragon that they didn't take, so I'd say this game's pretty even right now. Anyway, let's see. In terms of farming, we might be a little bit ahead of them. The enemy team's philosophy, as far as I can tell in this game, was they kept taking people out of lanes and then trying to push with either 2, 3, or 4 people in other lanes. Right there, Ezreal's able to flash out of Mookie's stun there, and unfortunately Ezreal finishes him off. I use my exhaust on Pantheon there. Pantheon's a good one to use exhaust on because his damage is all physical. We actually don't get Pantheon, but we're able to get LeBlanc there. Now Pantheon's going to focus me here, and he was able to kill me. I would have been able to finish him off, but Taric popped a heal on him, so you can see he gets away with like no life left. And now we get double stuns off on their Taric, but he's using his ultimate, so he's healing really fast. And of course they go back to the safety of the tower. Varus gets the kill on Pantheon, and then their team gets the kill on D.Va. So a lot of deaths going back and forth here. I'm not exactly sure what the overall rate was in that particular exchange. I think we came out about even. I think it was 3 deaths on each side, something like that. Mookie has just revived, and now he's going to jump behind the Cho'Gath, who is up in top lane. And Cho'Gath needs to get out of here because he's behind. You can see he's behind Mookie. That is, he can't get back that way. He can't walk past our tower to get away. But the longer that Cho'Gath stays around here, you can just you don't want to spend a lot of time in the enemy team's jungle because the rest of the team is going to catch up to you and corner you. His speaker was pushing bottom while this is going on, just took out that tower. Now you can see D.Va jumped in behind, he has a gold card, and I just walked over here from the fountain. So together we're going to kill Cho'Gath, and then their Pantheon player jumped in to support Cho'Gath, but unfortunately that turned out to be a really bad place to jump into, as 4 members of our team were there, and it was a 4-on-2 fight that they just weren't going to win. So interesting little exchange there. Cho'Gath's big problem was when Mookie jumped in behind him using Pantheon, he just needed to get out of there quickly because he couldn't stick around in our jungle, because once we had sight on him, people were going to team up and try to kill him together. And of course, that's exactly what happened. And then their Pantheon tried to save him, and he wasn't able to do that. Okay, one other thing that I bought when I last went back to base was I picked up some wards. I noticed that we didn't have very many wards, so I'm going to try to start planting them. I have a lot of minion kills, so I have the money to spare. Even though Karthus is a bit of a carry, I had enough gold to spare on this, so I worded Baron. Now I'm gonna word Dragon. You can see Dragon's back up again, so we're going to try to do Dragon together once we can get a couple of people over here for safety. Since we have it worded, I don't think we have to worry too much about them stealing it. Yeah, you can see they're in this area, but we do have that ward, so we'll be able to see if they go for it. So we're going to pick up this blue buff first, and Mookie walks away a little early, but I am able to pick it up. Now with 4 here, you can see there's 2 top lane, there's 2 bottom lane, I think, so this is a completely safe dragon, and we're going to claim this one and take our second dragon of the game in complete ease. So that's a nice gainer for us. When the score is even in kills like this, 11 to 12, I mean, they're slightly ahead in kills, but with us taking those 2 dragons, that's going to help us out a lot. Okay, Speaker is killed there by the LeBlanc, and I'm trying to come in behind the enemy team as they're retreating. You can see I popped my Ghost off there. I probably should use Ghost just slightly earlier. And here, the wall placement is brilliant. I hit the slow on Taric, and I hit the slow on LeBlanc, but she's just too far in front of us, and it looks like she's going to be able to get away. Yeah, so she's just going to be able to get away from this. Of course, while we're doing this, the enemy team is pushing top lane. They're using their own Pantheon global ult to go up there. So D.Va goes off to do that, and unfortunately, as D.Va gated up there using Twisted Fate, he was actually taking tower aggression the whole time, so he took 2 or 3 shots while that was going on. Speaker, though, says he can ult D.Va if he gets into trouble. Now, watch this on the minimap here. You can see we were going to get in a few shots on this tower, but look, there's LeBlanc, who we can see because I put a word at that red. So because we know that she's there, we're going to be able to go after her. Mookie gets off a stun with Pantheon, and then together with me, we're able to kill her. So having that word there helped us out a lot. We were able to see her trying to circle around us up there. And now that we've gotten just about everything we can, after this particular push, we're going to go back and we're going to buy at the fountain. Let's see, I'm going to pick up Merc Treads, and then I'm going to pick up my Tear of the Goddess. And I should have picked up Tear much earlier because you want to start building it early with Karthus. But because I was struggling a little bit in the lane earlier, I went for the Catalyst first. Yeah, their LeBlanc player types in, "So lucky Panth went just out of my sight, so I couldn't get my second cast off." The thing that made that fight again was she didn't realize that we actually had a sight ward there, so we could see what she was doing the whole time. So that was the difference there, but we certainly didn't tell them that we had a sight ward right at their red. Anyway, let's see. So in terms of that overall exchange, I think that we came out ahead. They tried to push top lane, tried to get that tower, but they weren't able to do it. We were able to pick up some kills, we were able to pick up a dragon, and we were able to continue getting some farm in on some of our characters. So I think that that was a pretty good fight there. Right here, we were trying to get the other team to push forward so Mookie could jump out of the bushes and stun a member of their team, and then the rest of us would join in. However, then Cho'Gath came out of the brush, and then we noticed that there were 4 of them here, and suddenly that didn't look like such a good idea anymore. So Mookie just circled around and joined the rest of us here. They're pushing forward pretty aggressively with 4, but they're not going to be able to break our tower here. Right there, we managed to catch LeBlanc, but then she dashed out of it, and we wisely backed out. Quite often, you'll see teams, people just commit to a fight, even if it's a bad one, in a situation like that. I think we were pretty smart to just back off and get out of the way of that. Now Speaker teleports in as well, so now it's going to be a full 5v5, I think. So let's see, Speaker and Mookie go forward first, and we're going to try to join them here with the fight. Nice stun there on the Twisted Fate card by D.Va. Now here, I get out of position. I come forward to pursue these people on the other members of their team, but I get trapped away from the rest of my team, and I get burst down and killed. So I'm just going to do what damage I can with my ult, but that was a silly death and a poor play. Anyway, their Pantheon came forward, and we were able to isolate him, get him with stuns, and kill him. That's the LeBlanc clone, by the way, so there's she's not dangerous. D.Va flashes forward, gets in a nice stun on their Cho'Gath, but he's just a little too tanky, and we're not going to be able to kill him. So I think that we are going to back off on the fight here. I believe we got 2 kills to 1 on our team, the 1 being me, of course. So I think that also worked out pretty well for us overall. Here, Mookie is going to ult in behind the rest of the team. You can see he's going to jump in here behind the tower. And they obviously figured this because they backed off. But because they backed off, that means that they're not defending this tower. And so the 3 of us are going to burst down that tower. So pretty nice play. Anyway, just to go back to that last fight in terms of what I was doing, you could see I got sucked too far forward. I got sucked away from the tanks on our team, the beefy characters like Shen and Pantheon, and then I was taking tower fire too. So I just put myself in a really bad position that you don't want to do with Karthus. It's okay for Karthus to die, but he has to be with the rest of the team, or else his dead body that's doing defile damage isn't going to serve much of a point. Anyway, LeBlanc is badly out of position up here. You could see we caught sight of her running around behind members of our team. She's going to stealth, or her passive is going to trigger here with a mirror image, and that's actually going to allow her to get away. And now up here, you could see their Cho'Gath was targeting D.Va, who was low, so I went up there to try and protect him. We actually get a kill on their Pantheon, not their LeBlanc, who once again I can't kill because my ultimate's not up. Now we've got Cho'Gath stunned, and he's going to die, but he flashes over the wall. So that's a nice flash. People who complain about flash and say it shouldn't be in the game, well, that's probably the #1 reason why right there. I mean, that's a 100% dead kill that flash allows you to get out of. But not complaining about flash, has its ups and downs. Now over here, we're going after Ezreal. Let's see, we've got him stunned here, and now Ezreal's going to flash out of the wall as Mookie gets eaten by Cho'Gath, unfortunately. But their Taric player obviously doesn't have flash, and he's in the middle of 4 of us, so we're going to kill him and exchange another kill 1-for-1 with the enemy team.
He's so easy to kill.
All right, if we had Mookie up there, if we had been able to get that kill on Taric with Mookie, we probably would have tried to Baron here. But with them having 4 and us having 4, it's just a little bit too risky, I think. So we're going to back off, and we're not going to try for this here. All right, let's see. Both sides have backed off. I throw down the wall just to make sure that their enemy team isn't waiting in that brush to try to jump out and kill me. And I think in the meantime, I'm just going to farm these minions here as we sort of get ready for the next fight in this game. Their Pantheon came forward, but we just weren't in a position to go after him and get him. As I take out 3 minions there with 1 lay waste. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, I'll get a haunting, guys.
All right, let's see. Where are we going next? Oh, Dragon just popped. You can, if you noticed on the minimap, just appeared, and also our blue buff has respawned. So I was going to go over to get that, but since Dragon also spawned, that makes that the next priority. Varus and I are waiting here, and I wish I had waited just a little bit longer in the brush so that I could have surprised that Pantheon, but backed off too soon. Anyway, our ward that we have down at Dragon gives us sight down there, and that's going to be pretty key. Let's see, there's 4 of them now going to do Dragon, but we have sight here, so we can watch them. We have the rest of our team coming towards us. I'm going to engage here to try to distract, so I'm going to have to exhaust Cho'Gath as he pursues to try to slow him down. Now I'm going to wait into the fight here. Speaker ults D.Va to protect him because D.Va's doing a lot of damage. I'm just trying to get into the middle of their team to do as much damage with Defile as possible, even though I'm going to get killed. That didn't work out too well. They did a pretty good job of staying away from me, which is what you should do when you're playing against Karthus. But my ult does do some pretty good damage, and we're able to take out their LeBlanc player. I believe that did we get anyone else on their team? I'm not sure if we did. Anyway, they probably came out a little bit ahead in that fight because they actually picked up the dragon in that fight. It was kind of hard to tell, but they did actually get the dragon in that fight. But anyway, they all took a lot of damage, so they're going to back off and retreat. And in the meantime, we're going to tank down this tower of theirs. Oh, and by the way, look at how fast Steve is starting to attack. Maybe you can see that in the next part. So we're able to take down that tower with Speaker tanking it, and now everyone's going to return to base. However, Mookie just sticks around slightly too long if you watch on the minimap, and he's going to end up getting stunned by, well, not stunned, but he's going to get hit by Ezreal's red buff, and it's going to slow him, and so Mookie's actually not going to be able to get away from that. So good of a player as Mookie is, this is just a mistake on his part, stays around slightly too long, and so he can't get out of this, and there's nothing we can do to save him, and he's going to get killed here. So unfortunately, that was an unnecessary death. Anyway, next time, part 3.